Good morning once again. Good morning, dear listener. We have said yesterday, this Beavers machine is like the Android phone. What is stored inside is stored there. And then when you want to maybe sell it off or give it to somebody, you go to reset default and everything wipes away. But INEC is telling you and I, and they said yesterday, that the collated results or the results stored inside will not be affected if they configure it. But it's not clear to Nigerians, TV and Shola. The Nigerians, somebody said, and I want to believe with the person, that the fuel scarcity and the naira scarcity is a systemic way to distract Nigerians from the real issues bothering us. Shola, you and I are saying that the big day for the Court of Appeal to rule on this matter. But go to the filling stations and the banks. They don't care what the INEC is going to rule. It's the big boys now. The battle has shifted to the legal luminaries and the big boys to begin to. But the ordinary persons that went to queue up to vote, they are concerned about how they will pull out 1,000 naira. They are concerned about how they will get 280, 300 to buy fuel. That is the concern. Somebody has said, and I want to agree with them, it's a systemic distraction. Nigerians are not even concentrating. They don't even know if the Court of Appeal is going to rule or not. It's none of their business. But you and I have a responsibility to educate them. Don't be distracted. Listen, and listen very well. The Court of Appeal today is going to rule on this matter. That ruling, Shola, is what will enable INEC to talk. INEC cannot talk because the matter is in court. They cannot issue any statement, as it were, until the ruling is done with. And one thing that TV said that is striking, the Court of Appeal has to be very careful which direction the pendulum swings. Yesterday, we observed two factions, two groups protesting in front of INEC. One saying pro, one saying against.
Groups have the freedom to protest.
Yes. We don't want. What is all this issue about configuring? Another one say no. Let it be configured. So those are the kind of things we'll be seeing, and we pray not to have. Nigerians are already tensed. There's palpable tension everywhere. We wouldn't want to see another case of NSAS, God forbid.
Well, I don't think we're going in that direction, but of course, like the admonition is that we shouldn't have the peace of the graveyard. People are tensed. That's why some are saying, let's do our elections and let's get over it. Mustafa Mohammed is also on the program.
Thank you, listeners. Good morning. The Independent National Electoral Commission will take a lot of the blames. When you are planning for such a very big exercise, you have to take into cognizance such incidences in the past and issues that will arise as a result of the new electoral act. And then specifically, if the instructions in the electoral acts as regards the use of the beavers, the electronic transmission and whatever is not used, you will have to start thinking, what do you think will come up as a result of legal challenges and fireworks? And this is exactly what is happening. Even before the cases were filed at the courts, the national leader, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Yakubu, or any of his officials have not been talking to Nigerians as regards these challenges. And unfortunately, like many others have been calling for Mahmoud Yakubu and his officials to resign. That may not also help us as the elections line up to take place, but they need to really come out and tell people why INEC failed to perform, to the most expected level. And this is exactly the kind of problems we are having. Should Nigerians trust the Independent National Electoral Commission? We will never forget the election that brought late Umar Musa Yar'Adua, our president, who did not live long to deliver his promises. But he acknowledged, because he was very honest, that the election that brought him to power was very flawed. He put up the West Committee, yet subsequently he had health challenges, and those in power that came after him refused to implement those recommendations by the OS committee. And some of these things that are happening now are actually as a result of our deliberate action or inaction as a result of that recommendation. And then as regards the newly elected, the president-elect and his vice, I think they need to put up a scheme for expectation management. Right from 1999, when we returned to civilian regime from the military, Nigerians had high expectation because they had expectation as a result of the various sufferings, lack of infrastructure, massive poverty, corruption, and what have you. Nigerians were expecting that when the civilian regime come, former President Olusegun Obasanjo was likely to have come back as a president after being a military head of state several years. The expectations of Nigerians have not been met.
That's why we're going to the polls to vote. So
let me finish. So now, the new regime, how are they going to manage the expectations of Nigerians? Look at the amount of money that accrue to both state and federal government, even the excess oil revenue and what have you. But we still have health workers going on strike, school also going on strike. This time around, the longest crimes here and there, bad roads and bridges. When Babatunde Fashola became a minister, the promise he made at the press conference, I was there, was that they will not award contracts until all contracts from 65-70%, are completed. But subsequently, for political reason or whatever, we started seeing several contracts being awarded.
So not too many words. People come into office, and they've told us certain things before they get in or while they just got in, but policy somersaults along the way. These are some of the things we see, with regards to public officials. So that's why an election period gives us the opportunity to look back and ask ourselves, this is what you promised when you were in office, but have you fulfilled it? For not fulfilling it, I give my vote to someone else. And that's what the ballots and the papers do for us. It's about the midway point of the program. Normally by this time, we should have the feedback from those of you who are listening in, but I want to apologize that we will not bring you the mails today. There's so many issues we need to deal with. Now, let's continue our conversation. Two key things myself and my colleagues will be talking about now. We'll talk about what happened only yesterday in Sokoto. What did we get? We got a report that the resident electoral commissioner in that state, Dr. Nuhu Ali, has been asked to go on immediate suspension. And that letter came from the INEC yesterday, signed by the secretary, asking the administrative secretary in the Sokoto office of INEC to immediately take charge, and that for the governorship and House of Assembly elections, a national commissioner and 4 other senior staff will be joining her to ensure that process is foolproof. Now, what's the issue? What are the allegations? That they do not clear, but of course, as journalists, we've asked some other questions, that he's aside staying away from the INEC office and removing his hand totally. That the allegations are that it may not be unconnected with irregularities in the just concluded election in the state. What did Dr. Akali do? We do not know, but feelers are that he didn't do the proper thing. So I wanted us to look at all of this. After we're done with that, we now go to the drama in Rivers. I'll introduce that once my colleagues weigh in on this.
What is the proper thing, if one may ask? Did he read or he didn't rig election?
Irregularity.
You see, irregularities is pregnant because there are so many words inside irregularities. Irregularities can be involved in rigging, can mean involved in voter suppression.
Like you said, the statement is pregnant.
Yeah. So
the INEC didn't give the full details of what Dr. Nura must have done.
Now INEC is sending him packing. What about INEC himself, chairman? Is he going to pack himself off with the request by protesters and other big politicians that he should resign? Is he going to resign himself? Because the Chatham House has said, they issued a statement saying that they didn't play by the rules of their guidelines. They performed below expectations of Nigerians.
And this is an organization institute that Professor Chuka went and said...
Mahmoud Yakubu was...
Mahmoud Yakubu.
Yeah, out of all of them, the big ones, there's only article that didn't appear at Chatham House. You know very well Mahmoud was at Chatham House and they asked him a lot of questions pertaining how this election will be credible, fair and free. And he gave them his words. Now the same Chatham House is coming to tell you, you didn't perform to expectation. It's a big one, and if you are going to give a knocks to somebody in Sokoto, what about yourself? Have you not considered giving yourself not throwing in the towel, for example? And as well, anyway, I would like to align with Mustafa, saying that removing him at this moment will not be the right thing, but it's for him to allow the process to be seamless, allow the beavers to remain, allow the parties angry to verify the materials, and before well, he's not in his hand anyway, he's in court. But however, he has a big role to play. His body language and other things.
I've not seen his body since since he handed people some stuff, and he'll be handing people certificates today. He has a long task
Was it
ahead
the one who
today.
did it yesterday?
Sorry?
Was it the one who did it yesterday?
Well, maybe he'll do today. Tell me.
when we wait to look at what happens, and this is about also the first time I think they're bringing all the senators and the House of Rep members elect to Abuja.
I'm wondering why that is being done.
That's a unitary system that we have introduced in everything that we do.
No, remember that Professor Mahmoud, Jega decentralized all of this.
Even the governors, for what is happening, it means all the
Governors
28
will
governors
come to Abuja.
I hope the House of Assembly members, they will not also ask them to come to Abuja to collect certificate of return. It's unnecessary. Completely. About the wreck in Sokoto. Yesterday, 98 senators collected
certificate of return.
None from Sokoto State. All the 3 senatorial elections in Sokoto State were declared inconclusive. We don't know how many. I'm trying to get a record of how many House of Reps
I
seats.
think they have about 9.
It were declared as in elections.
Okay, yeah,
we need to find that out. So it's a huge thing. Now don't forget, INEC also said after with the Beavers, IRF, and all, they said their staff and ad hoc staff that are indicted or are alleged to be involved will be disciplined or will put off and all of that. And I think this is in line with the position of INEC already.
Correct.
On the matter.
Discipline.
And even the Dogowa issue that you mentioned, also INEC, is acting in line with the Constitution, with the Electoral Act that says, look, they can't review a result that has been declared already if the circumstances warrant that it was under duress, and certain conditions that have been given, and that's the case in this. I've not seen the video myself, but some persons who have seen it